Well, here we are, still cooking in the kitchen, cooking up the alphabet. So today we're going to do C for Caribbean chicken, and we're also going to make a little dessert that's just quick and easy to make. Now, I don't know about you, but it seems like most people are always watching their weight and trying to be healthy. And what I've decided to do, I'm adding in more protein. I'm not a big red meat eater, so I'm having a hard time getting the protein in. So the last few weeks I've been working very hard at getting at least 40 grams a day, and I know that's a lot, but I've been sleeping better and I feel better, and I guess they say it builds muscle, so we'll see. So we're going to have 2 dishes today that have a lot of protein in it, and hopefully you'll want to try it. But the Caribbean chicken I put on the stove less than an hour ago. Very simple. I took about 6 pieces of chicken. They were the frozen kind that come in the bag that say tenders, and I put them back in the Dutch oven on the skillet, in the stove rather, and I used some olive oil, and I started browning it up a little bit. I added onion. That's what I have right in that pot. I put in an onion, some celery, and it called for pimento, and I did have some roasted peppers that are like pimentos, but instead I happen to have a red pepper still in the garden. So I got that out too, and I cut up the red pepper, celery, and onions, and I got it all nice and sauteing back there with the chicken, and allow that to cook a little bit. Now we want to add some spices to that. So we're going to add some paprika, and I love bacon salt. I use that on just about anything I can. It has a nice smoky flavor to it. It doesn't have very many calories. It actually says 0. So it only has a little bit of sodium as well. So the bacon salt adds a nice little taste to it. And I also love my crazy mixed up salt. This is a mixture of lots of herbs. It just says on here, when I look at the ingredients, it says herbs and spices. There's onions and garlic and some oregano and things. So this is an all-around good spices to add. So I added that. It's up to you how hot you want to make it. I added a little more paprika to spice it up a little bit. And once that got going, I added a little bit of tomato. Now, if you have fresh tomatoes, that's fine. Unfortunately, mine are just about gone. So I got a can of tomatoes. Let me see. Here they are. And I happened to find the spicy red pepper kind. And so I used half a can. I didn't use a whole one. I didn't want it to be too spicy. So I threw in half a can of this and started to let it cook and bubble away. And oh my goodness, it smells so good. And the last couple ingredients might be a little unexpected, but very good. A handful of olives. I used the green olives and just threw a handful of those in. And it's amazing how much I like the chicken, the olives, and the tomato mingling together. It was excellent. And one of my other favorite ingredients, if you've not tried capers yet, I want you to get a jar. Try them. They're salty. Just a nice little flavor. You can see I only have a few left. I guess I better go to the store. I threw in about 2 tablespoons of capers as well. And just let all the flavors mingle and mix back there. I'm going to show you how it turned out. But what I want to tell you, a family who isn't too keen on maybe you're watching all your calories and things, you can jazz theirs up by just adding some noodles. Put their chicken on top of the noodles. Or I happen to find some Spanish rice at the store. Just open this up and serve it over the rice. And for me, I'm just going to have it plain. And I'll show you what it looks like. It's already back here. I'm just going to spoon up some right in this dish. Oh, it smells wonderful. And here's how it looks. And what am I getting out of this? A lot of protein. 3 ounces of the cooked chicken is 22 grams of protein. So right there, I'm getting an awful lot. Look at that. You can see the olives and the tomatoes and the chicken there. Oh, I wish you could smell it. It's awesome. It's just so good. And the onions and the celery. I'm sure you could add other things that you like. I'm thinking artichokes might be good in here. But just let it simmer away. It thickened up a little bit. Delicious. So I'm going to have this as soon as I'm done with this. Now, I promised you one other recipe. And again, watching my protein, I'm really trying to get it up. And you know that one of the foods that has the most protein? Cottage cheese. So here's what I did. I'm making mock rice pudding. I love rice pudding. I just think it's especially now, you know, we're getting to fall and all those comfort foods. Rice pudding, one of my favorites, especially warm. But I didn't want all the carbs, and I didn't want all the calories, and I'm looking for more protein. So I found a recipe, and it's very simple. And actually, you can make this. I'm going to bend this down a little bit so you can see a little better here. You can make this in 5 minutes, I'm telling you, and I just did. So I took a box of the vanilla sugar-free, fat-free Jell-O mix, the vanilla pudding. And I added 1½ cups of skim milk. And you can see it's already thickened up. Now before I added the milk to the dry ingredients, I added a shake of cinnamon, some pumpkin pie spice, and a little bit of ground nutmeg. And I sprinkled that right into the dry vanilla mix. Then I added the milk, stirred it around a little bit. In less than 5 minutes, it's already starting to thicken up. Now, what am I going to add to it? You might think it sounds crazy. I'm adding cottage cheese. Do you know in this package of cottage cheese, 1/2 cup has 13 grams of protein? Wow. Right there, I'm getting an awful lot of protein, considering the rice for the same amount is only 4 grams. So I am really trading up as far as the protein goes. Now watch. I'm just going to take the cottage cheese. Now I made this the other day to try it out, and it was awesome. And you know what I like about this? You can make 1 serving. I took a little bit of pudding, threw it in a mug, added a little bit of milk and started to thicken, and threw a couple tablespoons of the cottage cheese right in there, and I had my own little dessert. But I was making a bigger batch for you. I'm just going to stir around. Just keep stirring. Cottage cheese goes right into the pudding. Now remember, we have lots of spices in here too. Stir it around. Now I'm not saying that it tastes exactly like rice pudding, but there's little bumps in there. It kind of gives you the texture of the rice. I'm going to take one little bite and just tell you how it is. And I promise I'll be honest. Delicious. This is so tasty and so good for you, and so friendly as far as trying to watch your carbs and getting in your protein. Yum. Now the whole, like a 1/2 cup is probably at the most 3 points if you're a Weight Watcher. If you don't want to put in the cottage cheese, that's fine. The pudding was pretty good just the way it was. So we have 2 delicious recipes that are very high in protein, really good for you and easy. Less than an hour, I have a delicious meal plus my dessert. And I have enough probably for tomorrow too, which is sometimes nice to make once and have enough to eat twice. So I hope you try the Caribbean chicken. Remember the chicken and the celery, the onions, the pepper, lots of spices. Just let it mingle back there, but then add in your olives and capers. Delicious, just awesome. And remember your rice pudding, mock rice pudding. I'm telling you, it's delicious. I hope you give it a try. I hope that you're eating healthy. I hope that you're making good choices. And as we say in Weight Watchers, make 1 small change. Make something, something that you can live with. Make it something that you can keep doing, and make it a lifestyle change, we hope. So as always, happy, healthy cooking. Until next time, bye-bye.